Hello, I'm Ana Cabrera reporting from New York. We begin with the breaking news rocking Washington, D.C. Never before seen emails released this morning by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, raising new questions about President Trump's relationship with convicted sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. The emails provided to Congress by the Epstein estate show private correspondence between Epstein and his accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell and between Epstein and author Michael Wolff, with multiple references to Trump, all raising more questions about what Trump knew and when. Epstein writing in a 2011 email to Maxwell that Trump, quote, spent hours at his house with a sex trafficking victim. Epstein calls Trump in this email a, quote, dog that hasn't barked. We should note it's not clear what exactly Epstein meant by those comments. Let's bring in MSNBC Justice and Intelligence reporter Ken Dilanian, Michael Schnell on Capitol Hill, and Akayla Gardner at the White House. Ken, take us through what these emails say and their significance.
Good morning, Anna. Well, the one you just read is perhaps the most important one because it was written by Jeffrey Epstein in 2011, long before Donald Trump's political career, and he used the phrase, the dog that hasn't barked. That's a phrase from a Sherlock Holmes story suggesting a clue. And he says that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Redacted name of a victim, spent hours at my house with him. He's never once been mentioned. And then he uses the phrase police chief, etc. So these emails, essentially what they do is they raise new questions about Donald Trump's longstanding contention that he had no knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's massive sex trafficking operation. These emails suggest that they don't suggest that Donald Trump was part of it. They suggest, though, that he may have known about it. There was another email written years later to Michael Wolff, the author from Jeffrey Epstein. And the context here appears to be about Jeffrey Epstein being kicked out of the Mar-a-Lago golf club. Epstein says, Trump said he asked me to resign. Never a member ever. And then he adds, of course, he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. And then the third email is between Wolff and Epstein, and it's about Wolff telling Epstein that he believes that Trump will be asked in an interview, this is in 2015 as he's running for president, about his relationship with Epstein. And Epstein asked Wolff, if I were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? Now, that, of course, suggests that Epstein would be in communication with Trump and would be helping him craft an answer to a media question. And then Wolff answers, I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the House, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you. Or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him, generating a debt. So again, that suggests that Wolff and Epstein believe that Trump was more involved or has more knowledge of Epstein's operation than he was letting on. Again, none of this is definitive, but this adds to the picture and adds to the questions that both Republicans and Democrats have about what exactly Donald Trump knew about Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his sex trafficking of both minors and non-minors.
Emails were released by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, and the top Democrat on that committee, Robert Garcia, is joining us now. Congressman, when did you get this information?
We actually just received all of these emails, a total of about 23,000 documents, actually a few days ago, so last week. And we've been going through, our team, of course, through all of these very carefully over the last few days. We obviously released some today. We'll be releasing additional documents likely later today. The important thing here is that we know, and we've been demanding, that Donald Trump and the DOJ release the full Epstein files. In what's been released today, which obviously is some quite serious, I think, connections between what Donald Trump may have known. There's communication between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, obviously making some claims about Donald Trump spending significant time, hours, with possibly one of the victims. There's also disturbing emails there about Trump and Jeffrey Epstein that people can read for themselves. I think what's important right now is that we want to know why Donald Trump spent the entire campaign saying that he would release the files. And now that he's in the White House, there is a massive cover-up going on. The survivors deserve the truth.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Welcome back from your 8 weeks of taxpayer-funded vacation. It's good to see you, and I hope
I'm going to interrupt you.
Republicans
I'm going to interrupt you, please. I am sick and tired of hearing you all say we had an 8-week vacation.
That's exactly what happened.
I worked every day.
I hope that you all enjoyed yourselves while American families looked at their letters from their health insurance companies, terrified that their insurance premiums were going to double or triple while the House was out of session for 53 days. That is unacceptable, Madam Chair. The Republican shutdown lasted 41 days. It is the longest shutdown in American history. 41 days of unpaid federal workers and families losing access to food assistance because Donald Trump chose to use hunger and healthcare as leverage. The callousness and corruption is astounding. Welcome back from your 8 weeks of taxpayer-funded vacation. It's good to see you, and I hope
I'm going to interrupt you.
Republicans
I'm going to
enjoy-
interrupt you, please.
Please.
I am sick and tired of hearing you all say we had an 8-week vacation.
That's exactly what
I
happened.
worked every day. I don't know about you, but I don't want to
worked
hear
every single
another
day as well.
soul
We all
say
worked every
that.
single day, and that's exactly what happened with Speaker Mike Johnson.
You're recognized.
I hope that you all enjoyed yourselves while American families looked at their letters from their health insurance companies, terrified that their insurance premiums were going to double or triple while the House was out of session for 53 days. That is unacceptable, Madam Chair. Now, we are back here to vote on a terrible partisan spending bill that will deepen a healthcare crisis that you did create. By first stripping away Medicaid from 15 million people, that is a fact. I'm sorry that you deny that fact, but that is a fact of the matter in the bill. And by refusing now to extend the Affordable Care Act, healthcare premium subsidies that keep coverage affordable for American families. And you also did all of this while engineering the most unprecedented transfer of wealth from the working class and poor Americans to the wealthiest people in this country. That is another fact. The Republican shutdown lasted 41 days. It is the longest shutdown in American history. 41 days of unpaid federal workers and families losing access to food assistance. 41 days of families skipping meals and seniors delaying care because Donald Trump chose to use hunger and healthcare as leverage. The callousness and corruption is astounding. Donald Trump and Speaker Mike Johnson, throughout this entire time, did absolutely nothing. They did not lift a finger to try to negotiate a real solution on any of this. What was Donald Trump doing during this time? I know that he announced plans for his $350 million ballroom funded by billionaires and corporations. I know that he was traveling around the world to Asia. He hosted a huge Great Gatsby party. I don't know if anyone here was invited. The night before, 42 million Americans lost access to SNAP assistance. He is acting like a king while millions of people in this country are suffering. That is unacceptable. And Speaker Mike Johnson, throughout this time, he has not just enabled this corruption, he has actively participated in it. That's why I staked outside of his office last week, to be absolutely clear about what's been happening. Mike Johnson is starving Americans and gutting health care to cover up the Epstein files. And I want to explain exactly why and how he's doing so, because the public deserves to understand it very clearly. Congresswoman-elect Adelita Grijalva, who is from my state of Arizona, would be and will be the 218th signature on the discharge petition. 218 is the number needed to force a vote on the floor, whether the speaker wants one or not. And when Adelita is seated tomorrow, finally, after 49 days since she was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives, Speaker Johnson's going to lose control. Because then every single member of Congress on the Republican side and our side will have to go on the record and answer one very simple question. Do you want to support and protect the release of the Epstein files, or do you want to protect the names of the men who were involved in the crimes? That's the vote that Speaker Johnson has been running from. There's been plenty of reporting that the White House and Speaker Johnson have been actively working throughout this entire period to threaten the 4 Republican members of Congress who are on the discharge petition, to get one of them to come off of that discharge petition, because that is their number one priority. That's what's been happening. It is a cover-up, and Speaker Johnson must and should be investigated.
Interesting that my colleague from Texas wanted to sit there and lecture both Catherine Clark and I, but couldn't see fit to ask us a single question, engage in a debate. Where y'all been, bro? You've been out for 7 weeks. You don't have the time to have a back and forth? We hear you rant for a few minutes, basically threaten to repeal the Affordable Care Act and then don't want to defend that position? You should feel free to defend that position. You've done it 70 times. And if you think that's on the right side of the American people, then fine. That's your plan. Repeal and displace tens of millions of people. That's the Republican plan. And what I don't understand is why my colleague cut and run. I'm sitting right here. Catherine Clark is right here. Hopefully, Madam Chair, we can have a back and forth as opposed to just being lectured to by our Republican colleagues.
We're about to get a vote on the Epstein files. Nearly 8 weeks after closing down the House of Representatives, Mike Johnson has just called us back into session. That means he will finally have to swear in Adelita Grijalva, and she will be the last signature we need to force a vote on the Epstein files. Every single member of Congress will then have to vote to either protect billionaire pedophiles or defend women and children, bring justice to victims, and actually provide the transparency that the American people have demanded. Should be an easy vote. Stay tuned.
Do you plan to use the moment to address this with Speaker Johnson?
I do. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to say. I'm going to be as respectful as possible and pretend my kids are standing right there next to me when I say, you know, this is not something, it's undemocratic, it's unconstitutional, it's illegal, should never happen. This kind of obstruction cannot happen again, regardless of party. Their job is to swear people in, and 813,000 Southern Arizonans haven't had support during the shutdown because of Speaker Johnson's lack of transparency and willingness to do his job.
But you do plan to bring it up with him?
Yeah. I feel like I won't be able to be myself. I won't be able to sort of move on if I don't address it personally, and we'll see what kind of reaction he has.
Hillary Clinton was on Morning Joe today, and she reminded us all why she's the GOAT. Watch.
In the next 30, 60 days, healthcare costs for millions of Americans are going up 75%. That's not Medicaid, which hits after the 2026 election, although the results are going to be felt beforehand because hospitals are cutting back services. But the Affordable Care Act health premium costs are going up 75%. Now, when somebody logs on to renew their health insurance and they see that, wait a minute, how did that happen? Well, it happened because the big bill they passed eliminated it.
She's absolutely right, because Trump and MAGA Republicans promised to cut costs from day one, and instead they've been going up. Hillary nails it by connecting Trump's big beautiful bill directly to skyrocketing medical costs that Americans are about to face. Premiums are going to go up across the board, no matter your income. And we have to give credit where credit is due, because it was under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, first with the American Rescue Plan and then extended by the Inflation Reduction Act, that enhanced tax credits, cut costs, and doubled enrollment, making healthcare affordable for millions. Now those credits are going to expire because Trump refuses to extend them. Hillary also hit another critical point, and that's that MAGA Republicans in Congress gave away their Article 1 powers by letting Trump unilaterally crank tariffs up and down like it's a knob. Watch.
So you want to say your economic standing, your well-being is directly connected to the abuse of power. How do you hold a president who's abusing power, raising costs, imposing tariffs, raising healthcare costs by eliminating advantages like you used to have? How do you hold that president accountable in a midterm? You vote against his party. So I think it's, walk and chew gum at the same time. Mm-hmm. What you're seeing right now is part of a bigger picture. The costs are up. You can't afford to live in a lot of places. And we need to run on that, but you need to connect it to this unaccountable, abusive power that we are seeing. And for the life of me, and I look at Joe having also served in the Congress, for the Republicans in Congress to give up their Article 1 constitutional power to be the appropriators, to be the deciders of how money should be spent is outrageous.
So while MAGA talks a big game about the working class, it's Democrats that actually delivered for the working class. And the pain that's going to be felt from the disappearing credits and from the tariffs isn't partisan. It'll be felt by Republicans, independents, even people who don't vote. Voting for Trump will not protect you from higher bills.
My amendment tonight would redirect that $40 billion bailout from Argentina. It would redirect the money that Trump said wouldn't benefit the American people And we would use those funds to extend the advanced premium tax credits for 2 years. Now, I'm like other people on this dais. I come from humble beginnings. I don't know what $40 billion looks like. I don't know what $1 million looks like. Neither do most of my constituents. Well, $40 billion that they used to bail out Argentina covers health care under the advanced premium tax credits for 2 years. This is an investment in the health and economic security of the American people. It's a far better use of taxpayer dollars than sending billions overseas.
What did he just say?
A 92% approval rating. We took that up from 38% from a certain previous administration that we won't mention.
Maybe 92% of Epstein supporters support you. Maybe 92% of women think you're gross. Maybe 92% of the world hates you. Or maybe you're just completely delusional.
Okay. That's Barack Hussein Obama.
Okay.
This is Biden right here.
Wait a second. The
Worst
profile of Biden is
So he's the worst president in the history of our country, and Barack Hussein Obama is top 5, meaning bad.
Are you going to replace that with his actual photo?
No, I don't think so.
But, Mr.
The
President, with
people
all due
are
respect,
paying-
you've been talking about fixing the health care insurance
and
plan
you
since
can't do it
2015.
because of the Democrats.
But
That's
since
right.
2015, you've said you'd
I've been
fix it.
talking about it for a long time. We almost did it. We were 1 vote short. We would have had great health care.
Now, see, he's relying on you to not remember what he's talking about here, but we're not going to let that happen. So let's go back in time really quickly. When the Affordable Care Act was passed in 2010, about 50 million Americans had no health insurance. Costs were skyrocketing. Premiums had more than doubled in the decade leading up to Obama's presidency because we have a for-profit healthcare system that doesn't view healthcare as a public good, unlike every other high-income country in the entire world. And millions were locked out of coverage altogether if they had a pre-existing condition, things like cancer or asthma or pregnancy or even domestic violence injuries. Insurance companies could just say, nope, you're too high risk. Because of how broken the system had become, Obama ran on healthcare and won. He passed the Affordable Care Act, and as a result, about 20 million Americans gained access to coverage. Insurance companies could no longer deny people with pre-existing conditions, and costs were reduced for millions of low to moderate income Americans through subsidies.
It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time, oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well, yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Are we coming through? Let's see. There's a pretty big delay here. Good morning, everybody. Are we coming through? Sounds like we're coming through. Pretty big delay here. Yeah. All righty. It's 11:31 a.m. in the Pacific Time Zone, and it's currently 70 degrees here in beautiful Las Vegas. Expected high 75, or overnight low down to 55 degrees. That's your weather update here on the Trucker John Livestream. Thank you guys so much for being here. We got Jolie here. Michael McAndrews. Nick Rich, 56, is here. David Weiss from Denver is in the chat. Liberal Dan. Hey, Liberal Dan. Now, granted, this is I'm probably 20 minutes behind you. Or maybe more. At least 15, 20 minutes behind. I don't know if Liberal Dan is still here in the driver's lounge, but nevertheless, I shall welcome you. Aaron West is here and Jolie is here. So you know what that means, folks. We're at full mod capacity. Full mod capacity. Full mod capacity. William is here, otherwise known as user PH9WT3UE7C. I think we'll just go with William. I'm a little late today. I was actually on time. Everything was going fine. But I had an Amazon delivery. And actually, for some reason, they broke it into two things. All I did... Here's what I did. I had my charging cord situation I was talking about yesterday. How actually two of them were actually pretty old. Several years old. Probably 5 years old or something. And they're no good. I threw them away. So what I did is I went on Amazon. I just ordered one last night, and it'll be delivered this morning. It was supposed to be this morning, earlier. And I got this 2-pack, and here's what I got. Look, I got yellow, and it's the fast charger. So I got 2 of these. But the thing is, I like the 10-foot length because that way I don't have any problem. I can plug in and it's gonna reach. But I didn't see any 2-packs with 2 10-footers. So what they had was a 10-footer and a 6-footer. So I got this. This is the 6-footer, and then I've got the 10-footer plugged in now. I'm using it. It's on. So I got that. So that got delivered just at a little after 11. I kept watching for the delivery. It said, he's on the way. You're the next delivery. So I didn't want to start the show until I got that Amazon guy, because I already missed one earlier the delivery where apparently the guy saw the gate and he couldn't figure out how to use the gate. And I was putting my shoes on because I know that sometimes I have trouble. So I was going out there. I was going to go meet him. By the time I did that, the guy already left and said he couldn't deliver it. And that was for a different item. It wasn't for this. Because I actually ordered a couple of grocery items too. And that was a package of hamburger. And the guy just left after 2 seconds. I swear he was here like 2 seconds and he left. Anyhow, so I didn't want to miss this one. So I was really just watching the phone. I was watching the icon where he was at, the little thing on the map. And then I walk out, and the guy was actually he was in the property walking around like totally lost. And I go, "Are you looking for John?" And he's like, Fowler? Yeah, Fowler. And he's like, yeah, okay. So anyhow, I met him out there, and I got the pack, I got the box, I got the package, because I had a few other things too. But I got my cords, I got my charging cords. These are nice. I went with the yellow. They had, as I was, you're on Amazon, you're looking at shit. I know I'm supposed to boycott. I know, but anyhow, I discovered they have all these different colors. They had like really pretty ones, like purple, light blue. They had a pink. Of course, they have white. They have black, and they had yellow. Now, at first, I was like, I don't want yellow. That's but it kind of drew my attention, And I was just going back and forth looking at all the colors, and I go, I don't want pink, I don't want blue. I mean, the purple looked nice. Purple was pretty. I like the purple. But then I was looking at the black, and I go, the black might be kind of cool. And then so then it was between, well, should I just stick with white because that's the traditional, Apple charging phone charging cord color. So I was thinking, I'll just go with white. But then I kept looking at the black one, and I was like, I wonder if black would be cool, And then for some reason I kept going back to the yellow one, and I kept looking at the yellow, the picture with the yellow cord, and I was like, just get the fucking yellow one. Then you keep going back to it. You obviously, this is my conversation with myself. I'm like, you obviously want the yellow one. Get the fucking yellow one. So I got the yellow one. I don't know. I guess it's supposed to be yellow. Is actually supposed to be like you electricians and stuff would know that this does have some sort of significance in maybe not for an Apple iPhone, but when it comes to cords and electronics, and that might be something significant there. But anyhow, I went with the yellow. So we got the yellow. So I got the cord. We're charged up, ready to go. And I'm looking at the current chat, but I'm going to go back down to the 20 minutes ago chat. Yeah, Nick Rich 11:08. So I'm 30 minutes behind already. And Nick Rich says, what's TJ doing now? So I just gave you a rundown at 11:08. What I just told you about the Amazon guy and going outside, that's exactly when all that shit was happening. With going outside, looking for the Amazon guy, making sure that he didn't leave the property. And then, because for the earlier delivery that I was supposed to get, he left, and they're like, we'll get in touch with you on November 14th or something. I'm like, what? That's 3 fucking days from now. Well, wait. 2 days. That's 2 days. Okay. So I didn't want to miss it. Because I don't know what the turnaround is for getting it rescheduled and all that shit. All right, guys. So going back to the chat, yeah, there's William, not W. William, there's starts with a W. Sandy Foltz is here. Hey, Sandy, good to see you. Thanks for coming on into the old driver's lounge. Do I look a little bit like I'm being chopped off or something? Nick Rich sounds like blackmail, not just simple email. Uh-oh. I don't know what. Did I already skip something? Am I already mid-thread? Oh, my bad. I'm on top messages instead of all messages. My bad. Now I'm probably not going to be able to scroll back up again. Yeah, I don't think I was able to scroll back up to it. So Mr. Spock said, I'm able to go back to where Mr. Spock says, what's the subject today, Nick Rich? Susie Jones says, I'm watching the intro from the beginning. Nick Rich says, that's a fascinating thought, Mr. Spock. Perhaps by the time TJ gets here, it will have been decided by someone else. Jolie says, TJ's intros are legendary. Thank you, Jolie. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I do I've been working on today's intro. It's a 20-minute, or less than that, because what's it about 15 minutes, 16 minutes? And I've been working on that since about 7:30 this morning, my time. So it does take a little time, but I have fun doing it. Golf Marine says TJ has a good format. Thank you, Golf Marine. That includes girls. I guess you mean not like girls, but women reporters or women Congress people and stuff. It's funny because I was going to put, because as I'm scrolling, I'm screenshotting all this shit, screen recording, and sometimes on my feeds there was this one of a really attractive young lady. It was, I don't even know what it was, but it was one of the things in the feed. And she's wearing a really tight shirt, and she's just kind of running around with her and bouncing her boobs around. And I was gonna throw that in there just as a little jokey, because that's I thought it would be funny. But then I thought, nah, maybe I better not. Some people might find it really offensive or something. So I didn't put the bouncing booby girl in there. Now I wish I would have. Nick Rich says, I'm completely in the dark about all sports. Oh, man, come on, man. You got to like some sports. What about cockfighting? Is that a sport? Sandy Folds, $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Sandy. Yippee. I give you that yippee. Got a thumbs up and a heart. Thank you so much, Sandy. I appreciate the contribution to the show. I'll always appreciate it. Never expected, but I'll always appreciate it. I think that's a good thing to say. Chris Doug's here, live stream dreaming. Live stream dreaming. I'm not sure what that means, but thanks, Chris Doug, for being here. I'm glad you have your safety vest on, and I hope you had a good hike today. Mad Mac. Hey, Mad Mac, Slava Ukraini. Good to see Mad Mac. Says that woman, I did not have, no. That woman handed the old lady, Virginia Fox, her ass with a bow on it. She was awesome. Yeah, and she's the same one that I think was on yesterday's clip, or maybe 2 days ago, where she confronted little Grinder Mike in the halls of Congress, and I think she's a freshman, so that means she's new, right? She's pretty new, but she's ballsy. She ain't afraid. She ain't afraid to go up to these these Republicans that have been there a while. Golf Marine says this politics situation has obliterated my interest in sports for the most part. I understand. I get that. I do get that. It's kind of like I'll have moments of guilt where I'm watching a Rams game or a Dodger game, the World Series, and I'm cheering and I'm having I'm feeling good and happy, just being able to. But I also feel grateful too. So, but I'll think, man, there's people starving, people that are going through horrible health conditions and health issues, and that aren't being addressed or can't be addressed because they're losing their health care and all that kind of shit. And I'll feel temporarily bad, but then I'm like, nah, fuck it. No, I'm not. I don't see that. I'm just kidding. But I just that makes me feel grateful that I am able to sit on my couch that I found for free. But I love that couch. Probably my favorite couch I've ever had in my life. And I've had some nice couches, by the way, in the past. But I'm grateful. I'm able to sit on my couch in my living room, which is also my bedroom, and I'll watch my TV. It's not the biggest TV in the world, but it's a nice TV, and I know it's better than what some people have. And I'm able to crack open a beer, and I'm able to watch the World Series, or I'm able to watch the Rams kick ass again on the 49ers, or whatever. So that I do feel grateful because I do acknowledge that there are people right now going through really horrible times, uncertainty with their health insurance, uncertainty on their food with the SNAP and everything. That's all been going on, and now and every day there's something. So I can't allow. I don't want to just shut down and just be sad and gloomy all the time. I mean, you got to have you got to find something, and if it's not sports, I think everyone finds something, whether it's music or a movie or playing with your dog out in the yard, whatever it is, going on a bike on your new 3-wheeler e-bike, Damon Dog, whatever it is, we need to find these things to give us some break and have our moments that bring us some happiness and joy. Otherwise, I think we just go crazy. We just go crazy, and I don't want to go crazy, and not in a bad way. I mean, there's crazy good and there's crazy bad, I guess. Anyhow, thanks for being here, and I'm off on tangents. The Luck Dragon is here, so The Great Gatsby is a good book. What you are witnessing is a great catastrophe. I like that, Luck Dragon. I like that. That was good. Don't let anyone forget that. When people start saying, you know, the Democrats are weak. The Democrats didn't do this, didn't do that. They're weak. They're weak. They're weak. Just remind them that as people were losing their SNAP benefits and their health insurance, and as the economy is going in the toilet and grocery prices are getting higher and higher and higher, Donald Trump was having a fucking grand time with his Great Gatsby themed party, which was very extravagant. I'm sure it's cost many millions of dollars to throw this party, and it was totally in your face, in our faces. It was a total troll. I don't give a fuck how dumb we think Donald Trump is. You don't throw a Great Gatsby party during this time and not without that being a troll move. He knew what he was doing. It's his way of saying, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. I really don't give a fuck that you're losing SNAP benefits. I don't give a fuck you're losing health care. I don't give a fuck about any of that. I really don't give a fuck that you can't afford groceries. I don't give a fuck you can't afford your rent. I don't give a fuck that you're losing your jobs. I don't give a fuck about any of that because I'm rich and I'm going to throw me a party and I'm going to rub it in your face. That's what Donald Trump does and did. And he did it again. That was the first one. Then last week they had another one with the synchronized swimmers and all that shit. So he's just going to party every weekend, probably spend millions of dollars, and just rub it in our faces that he does not give a fuck how much pain we are going through. So remember that every time you want to fucking bash a Democrat, bash fucking Trump. That's where the bashing should be placed, is on Trump and the Republicans, because they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck, and they weren't going to give in about on that shutdown because they didn't give a fuck. Let me scroll down a little bit. There's Michael McAndrews. Gulf Marines has made the Epstein files reign supreme. Yeah, they've released some more, and that was the big news. We led off on that in the intro. That seemed to be the big news this morning as I was scrolling around at stuff, and it just shows, Trump tries to deny any involvement, but this shows that he was definitely involved. Epstein said, what did he say? He was with and they redacted the name, and he was in there for hours, so. Mad Mac, I like Hillary. She knows her shit. I love Hillary Clinton. I want Hillary Clinton to have my babies. Even at 79 years old. I don't even know how old she is. I want to put a baby in her. That sounds awful. Oh my God. Why do I say the things I say? Is it for shock value? Am I a shock jock? Maybe I'm a shock jock. I think I just turned into a shock jock. I'm the Howard Stern of the Trucker John Livestream. I'm feeling a little goofy right now. I think the coffee's kicking in. Bethany S. Arball is here. Hey, Bethany, good to see you. Happy that you made it to the driver's lounge today. Mad Mac, I'm still watching the lead-in, just in case you haven't figured it out yet. Okay, well, you do that. Nick Rich is here. Let's see. Michael McAndrews says, I have fiber optics being installed outside. They hit my gas line this morning. It's all fixed now. Yeah, that's not good. MJ Daniel from up there in Washington State says, ask Melania about Epstein and Maxwell. She was there. Yeah, I think she was trafficked. She might be a victim as well as a perpetrator. I don't know. Mad Max says, your internet should scream now then. And Michael McAndrews. Mr. Spock says, poor Bubbles. I guess he's quite an asshole. Seen him at a table with Sam Moon once. Totally ignored him and talked to Sam Moon. I have no idea who Mr. Bubbles or Sam Moon is. I don't even know why I read that. I have no idea. Anyhow, I do see the big blank spot there, and then how me. You know me, I always like to fill it with something. So this might be a good one to start off with. The good old fuck Trump. That old chestnut. There you go. How's that? That old chestnut. Fuck Trump. And fuck you for voting for him, for good measure. And the horse you rode in on, too. Why not? Poor horsey. Anyhow, we'll put that up for a while and see how that goes. Let's see here. I want to just move that over a little bit. So I don't block my beautiful face. Jolie, you chose yellow over pink? Who are you? Well, pink's for girls, blue's for boys. What's purple for? Is purple for trans peoples? I don't know. It came down to between black, white, and yellow. I don't know why. Jolie, I can't even figure it out myself. Mad Mac says Obama and Biden have been the best presidents in modern history. I agree, Mad Mac. I agree. I know you and I had some disagreements the other day, but we do fucking for sure agree on that 100%. Obama and Biden. I would say. See, I would think maybe even Biden over Obama. It seems like Biden was getting so much done in the short time that he was in there with a Republican Congress. People were comparing Biden. Remember, I don't know, do people remember this? Do people forget? I mean, even our own side that seems to forget. I feel like I'm zoomed in or something. I don't know. That people were comparing Biden to FD fucking R. For crying out loud. I think I am zoomed in and I don't like it. I don't like it. Maybe I'll just sit back. People were comparing Biden to FDR and saying that the stuff that he was getting through was, almost like New Deal stuff. I'm trying to get situated. And let's not forget that. Chips and Science Act, Inflation Reduction Act, he got a lot of stuff through. It was helping a lot of people. It was helping businesses. New businesses were starting. Wages were going up. We were seeing wage increases that we hadn't seen at the level of in 50 years. Unemployment was at record levels or that we hadn't seen in a long time. GDP was up. And it was a recovery. We're coming out of COVID. It was a big recovery. And we were moving at a much faster pace than anyone I predicted, I think. So let's just remember that. Yeah, Obama did great. Biden, if Biden, God damn it, age sucks, right? Age. I don't buy into this thing. You're not getting older, you're getting better. I think at a certain point, you're not getting better. And if Biden had been like when he took his first term, if he had been 8 years younger, I was going to say 10 years younger, even if he'd been 8 years younger or whatever, or even 5 years younger, he would have stayed in on this second run here, and he would have won. But why beat myself up? Why beat myself up? We can't change the date that he was born, and we can't change the fact that he's had this pretty big decline. And I still think that his decline, I guess mentally or whatever, was a little overblown. We talk about the stuttering, we talk about he got sick, he had COVID, all that kind of shit. Now he's got full blown, cancer and stuff. But even saying all that, he's still way more more sharper than Trump is. Look at Trump now. I mean, look at Trump now. Do I have it? I don't know if I have it. Oh yeah, look at Trump. Look at Trump now. This is what we have now. I would take. I probably can't put it in here. I don't know if I have it, but I thought maybe I might have a fairly recent picture of Biden. I don't see it. But anyhow, I would take, almost any form of Biden over that. As I posted on a post here on YouTube, President Poopy Pants, right there. So that's what I like to call him. Good old President Poopy Pants. MJ Daniel, fiber optics, parts of the U.S. joining the 21st century. I remember them talking about fiber optics when I was in fucking high school in the 70s, and how they were going to change everything to fiber optics, and this was a big change. It was going to improve telecommunications. I remember someone came to one of my classes, whatever class it was. I don't remember. It was someone from, I guess back then it was like Pac Bell or Ma Bell or whatever. I don't know, but it was supposed to be, fiber optics was going to, they were going to go through this big, tearing all the old shit out and replacing everything with fiber optics. This was in the fucking late 70s. I guess it was a longer project than we thought, or they thought. Anamore says, hello, TJ and fellow loungers. Hello. I will be lurking today. Take care of yourselves, people. Well, thank you, Anamore, for letting us know. In case we're like, it feels like someone is watching me. Now we know that it's Anamore. Anamore. Mad Max says it will be a change once it is installed. Okay, about the fiber optics, about how superior it is to whatever other cable, coaxial, or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Chris Doug says black, red, blue is hot live, yellow, green, grounding wire. There you go. I'm grounded. I feel well grounded now. Nick Rich, real men respect women. I feel like it should be like, this is what I feel like Nick is saying. Real men respect women, Trucker John. Don't you dare put that bouncing booby babe on your intro. Don't you dare do it. That's disrespectful. That's why I didn't do it, Nick, because I knew I was on thin ice with that. Victor Harshman's here. Hey, Victor, good to see you. Thanks for joining us here in the old Driver's Lounge. Victor says that the House Oversight Committee, controlled by Republicans, did not have to release the current emails. GOP is turning Trump. GOP is turning on Trump, I mean. But there, yeah. GOP is turning. See how if you leave one little word out, how it could really change the meaning of a sentence. The GOP is turning on Trump. Victor Harshman is telling us, and I've been hearing that. Didn't someone, was it Eric Swalwell said something about how he's reported heard that 100 Republicans, I guess that would be in the House, or was that, I don't know if that was combined Senate and House, but it was like 100 that he's heard that 100 Republicans are going to, I guess, vote for the release. They're going to turn, they're like switching their vote to release the files. Is that what he said? You guys can remind me on what that was. You guys know what I'm talking about, because that was a couple days ago. Swalwell, or a few days ago, Swalwell came out with that. Maybe someone could, look that up for me. Chris Tuggs, you only have to touch a wire once to see it. It's live once. And then it's skull and crossbones time for you. MJ Daniel, Rusty Warren, Bounce Your Boobies. Yeah, and that was, and the late Rusty Warren, I believe she's passed away recently, or fairly recently in the last couple of years. But that was the every Friday for a long, long time. That was at Randy Rhodes, the liberal talk show host, not the guitar player, would play that song on Fridays to start the show off on Fridays. So there you go. There you go. Luck Dragon says Belly Parton is the baddest bitch in the world. I seen her send the same video to the Today Show, The View, Good Morning America, and late night shows, and every single one is the same. I might be mid-thread. I don't know if you mentioned. Yeah, that's probably mid-thread. So I didn't see the video. Mr. Spock says it depends on what kind of cockfighting you're referencing. Oh, yeah. Whether it's a sport or not. I got you. The kind that uses actual chickens is not the sport. I think is what we're trying to get at. Mad Max says, "Oh, that was the same woman that went up to Mini. Yeah, that was the same one up to Mini Mikey, the grinder crasher. I like her. She brings it. Yeah, Mr. Bog, I believe that's called sword fighting. Okay, there we go. Right. That's a sport. Now that's a sport. Squirrel Girl with a $2 super chat. Yippee! Thank you so much, Squirrel Girl. I appreciate you. I know you probably did that a half an hour ago, and I just now got to it, but better late than never, right? Squirrel Girl says, "Hi, TJ and Truckers. I will be lurking and working." Another lurker and worker. Well, thanks for the $2 super chat donation to the show. I appreciate you. Always appreciated, never expected, or never required. I think that's what. Never required, but always very, very much appreciated. Victor Harsham says the Rams Seahawks game. Oh, it's going to be epic. Oh, I know, but I'm not going to read the very last part of the sentence there, or the last sentence. But it is going to be. It's going to be. It's going to be a game. It's the battle of the top two teams in the NFC West, and these are rivals in a way. I mean, it seems like all of the division, interdivisional teams are rivals, and just because they're in the same division. But I mean, there's nothing like the Niner Rams rivalry, just like in baseball, the Giants Dodger rivalry. But this is going to be a big game. Seahawks playing tremendously. Sam Darnold is looking great. On the other side, you got the Rams coming in hot. They got the same records. They're both 7-2, and Matthew Stafford looking like MVP form. I think Sam Darnold is in MVP form as well. The Ram defense has been on fire, as well as the Seahawks, and it's going to be Cooper Kupp playing against his old team. We'll see what transpires there. There's going to be a lot. It's going to be a great game, and I'm looking forward to it. Of course, I'm go Rams. You go Hawks, but may the best team win. Hey, Robert Perez from down San Diego way. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Robert Perez says, "Good afternoon," or is it "goo afternoon"? That could be a whole different connotation. Goo afternoon. I think it's good afternoon to you, Trucker John, and great day to all the Democratic people riding this political roller coaster. Hold on to your britches. I almost saw that said bitches. Hold on to your bitches for all of you that have them. No, he says hold on to your britches. Thanks, Robert, for being here. Good advice. MJ Daniel, watch the Rams lose to Seattle on Sunday. Hey, come on, MJ. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm being all good sporty. I'm saying lots of good things about Seattle, and you got to come in with that? Come on, man. Look, Dragon, this is the greatest question ever asked in human history. Would you rather clone Jesus Christ or Dolly Parton? I would say Dolly Parton because I'm not even sure if Jesus Christ even existed. So, how can you clone something that didn't exist? And plus, Dolly Parton's, cool chick. Nick Rich, 11:45. So I am 21. I'm only 21 minutes behind you, Nick Rich. I'm 21 minutes behind. I'm 21 minutes behind you, Nick Rich. I'm 21 minutes behind. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Mr. Buck says, you're supposed to add time, Nick Rich. Then TJ will think he's really far behind. No, we don't play those games. Those kind of games. Suzanne Forseppi's here. Says, Trucker John, I lost my ACA and my SNAP benefits. That sucks. The SNAP benefits are supposed to be restored when they reopen the government. You should be getting your SNAP benefits back. I don't know if they're going to do anything retroactive, like to make up for what you missed. I have no idea. But you should be getting your SNAP on I guess, for December. And as far as your ACA, you already lost. Your ACA was going to go up. At the end of the year, because of Trump's big, beautiful bill. I'll just call it what they call it. So, sorry about you losing the ACA, or at least, the anticipated loss of it. I guess you're saying you're losing it, or you lost it because the premiums are going up. They haven't gone up yet, to my knowledge. Those increases, I don't think are going to probably start going up into effect until January, maybe? I don't know. But let's see what can happen. But I put that squarely on as far as losing ACA or your those premiums, ACA premiums, subsidies going away, which is going to cause the premiums to go up, double, triple, and sometimes quadruple, according to the reporting that I've heard. You can place that squarely, the blame of that squarely at the feet of the Republicans. Basic Coding 101's here. Says party and steal is the Republican way. Yeah, they party it up while the bottom 99% struggles. And I think history has shown that doesn't last, certainly not forever. And I think it's short-lived. In other words, the bottom 99% will eventually rise up and overtake the top 1%. There's only so many great Gatsby parties that the bottom 99% is going to be willing to tolerate, while we're starving and not getting health care and not having jobs and shit. MJ Daniel says, since Reagan, the Republican Party has not cared about working class Americans, yet they keep voting for the same people who fuck them over. I'm starting to think they are stupid. Yeah, they're certainly uninformed. I think the majority of these voters, the Republicans have been good, and we've always talked about messaging and how Democrats are poor at messaging. Democrats, they can project an image of strength even though they're not, and then they project their weakness onto the Democrats and always say the Democrats are weak. If you look at the statistics, it's the opposite. The Republicans are the weak ones, Democrats are the strong ones. But I think that's why I was so kind of upset about all the name calling by our own side, by the liberals, by the lefties, calling our own Democrats weak just because they did something that you might not agree with. I don't think that took weakness. That doesn't. Or I saw this one video. I think it was the Good Liars or something. They were going around New York City. In fact, they were on the same street that Chuck Schumer, I guess, where he lives, and then they went to his office, and they were going around handing out flyers saying, Chuck Schumer is spineless, and all this kind of stuff. And the whole video was just about how spineless Schumer is. I don't think he's spineless, and I don't think he's a coward, because the message there is that Schumer is a coward and shit like that. He's not a coward. I don't think he's spineless. You don't think he knew? You don't think Chuck Schumer knew? Even though he voted no on the to reopen the government, but everyone is saying he knew what was going on, and he knew about the 8. And they call Schumer spineless and gutless all the time, but I think he knows the criticism that's going to be hurled at him. So I don't think that. So I think it negates the fact that he's a coward. I think he believes in what he believes in, and he's willing to do that regardless of how much criticism and how many attacks he's going to face. MJ Daniel, we could clone Hillary like Tom Brady's dog. Blood Dragon, how good would J.D. Vance be if he dressed up like Charlie in A Clockwork Orange? How good would he be? MJ Daniel, Melania, the new Patty Hearst. Yeah, with the Stockholm syndrome, basically. Mad Max says Hillary and Kamala would be an awesome ticket. I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. And I know we talk about one of the main reasons that Kamala may have lost is because of the misogyny. I think that did play a part in it, but I also think that when you have an entire primary season to run, I think that we could have overcome the misogyny. And if you look at Hillary in 2016, of course, we talk about it all the time. It's well documented that Hillary beat Trump in the popular vote by 3 million votes. So, because when you say Hillary and Kamala, my first thought was, what about the misogyny? But I think we could overcome that, and I think as each cycle that we go, further, I'm hoping. My hope is that the misogyny is shrinking. So as we go into 2028 and onward, and so yeah, I'm all for Hillary Kamala. I guess Hillary's not too old. How old is she now? She might be too old now at this point. Because let's face it, we don't. I don't mean to be sounding ageist. I'm not a spring chicken myself. But I hopefully, I mean, not learning a lesson. I don't mean that, but at least it should be. We should make us more aware that if you're going to elect someone in their late 70s, and you're hoping to get two terms out of them, you got to do the math. So by the time they're in their second term, they're going to be in their mid 80s, so, and I just don't think. I think Biden and Trump are both examples of, and even Reagan, but Reagan I think was even younger, and he started getting Alzheimer's in his second term. But how when folks start getting that age, just things happen. I mean, there's just more likely. It's more likely that you might get dementia or Alzheimer's or anything. And I don't think being president of the United States is a job that is conducive to those type of health conditions and health issues. So I think age is something we have to look at. If there's a candidate running in their late 70s, I think we need to say, maybe not. Maybe not. That might not be a good idea. Unless they are just totally fucking awesome. And not that I don't think Hillary was pretty awesome. I think she is, but I think she might be too old. Just like Bernie's too old now. And Bernie's in his 80s. Well, and he's not running. I mean, I'm not saying that he's even said he's going to run, but I'm just, but you'll hear people go, Bernie for president, 2028. Bernie's like 80. He's already well into his 80s, right? 82 or 83. So, and Bernie knows it. Bernie's not running, but, and even though he still seems sharp as a tack, but he's not going to run for president. He did it. He gave it a couple shots, and now he's at an age where, believe me, you don't get, even if you're in really good shape or you're not sick or anything, you just don't have the energy you had when you were, so. MJ Daniel says, Kamala president, AOC VP. Now that's a good one. I mean, because of that would be a really great one, because I love both. I love both those women. Kamala, I want to put babies in both of those women. I know that doesn't sound right, does it? I should probably stop saying that. I just mean it as a term of endearment or a compliment. I don't know, but it's probably coming off as a rapey or something. I don't know. MJ Daniel says, okay, so yeah, Kamala AOC, that would be a great ticket. Now for me, I love AOC, and I've been saying AOC for president since day one, although somewhat tongue in cheek, because I knew that she was very young and very inexperienced, and so I didn't really mean it. I just meant that, like, I think she's great and awesome, and I think she would be a great president someday, and I still think that, and I still think she's pretty young, and I would love to see her actually run for Chuck Schumer's Senate seat when Schumer retires. Or if he gets so unpopular, maybe she could primary him. I don't know. But I think she would be great to hold the Senate for a couple terms, and then she's still young. She can still run for president later in her 50s and 60s or whatever. But anyhow, I think, but Kamala AOC, that would be a great ticket. I still think for sure Gavin Newsom's running. He's for sure running. I think he'd be a great choice. But we're talking about women, I guess. I don't know. Kamala Harris, she could run again. Joe Biden ran more than once. Ronald Reagan ran more than once. Richard Nixon ran more than once, and lost and then ran, and then won and then won. So it's not like it's unheard of that just because you lost. Now they weren't. I think Nixon the nominee. I think Nixon lost as the nominee, and against Kennedy, right? And then he said, "You won't have Dick Nixon to kick around anymore." And then unfortunately, we did have him to kick around. Reagan didn't win the nomination, but he dropped out in '76, and then in '80 he came back, and then of course won the nomination, and then won the presidency. There's probably, and then Biden, I think, had run a few times, never got the nomination. I think he ran twice over the years, or was in it for a little bit. You know how they have the early ones and they drop out, but then he eventually became president. So it's not unheard of that you can run and then and not win, and then run again and then win. Jolie says, I just ordered a fuck Trump and fuck you for voting for a flag for my truck. Thanks for the inspiration. There you go. Yeah. There it is. Mad Max says, I ride with a few maggots that have threatened to fly a Trump flag on their bikes. So I need to be prepared for that situation. Get you one of them flags for yourself. A fuck Trump flag. They at first might even think it's like one of their flags, like a pro-Trump flag, and then they'll do it like a double take, and they're like, what? Victor Harshman says, I think Gavin Newsom and Gretchen Whitmer would be a good ticket. That'd be good. Little Gretch, Big Gretch. What do they call her? Big Gretch or something. Luck Dragon says your entire home with zero Donald Trump is so interested in making a ballroom, then why couldn't he pass an infrastructure package in his first term? I don't know. That's a weird sentence. So I'm not gonna... It's a weird sentence. Basically, I guess the whole thing is kind of rhetorical, but MJ Daniel, I'm 62 and I need a nap. See, yeah, like I was talking about. I mean, can you imagine being 78 or 90, or I mean, not 90, but even over 90, 78 or 80 or whatever, 79, 80, 81, and being the president of the United States? Trump Van Winkle, says Chris Doug. Bad Max says it would be the best thing to know all the stuff I know now back when I was in my 20s, and to have the stamina from my 20s in me now. That would be beautiful. That would be awesome. If we know what we know now, put all of our knowledge and our wisdom into whatever your favorite year is. Like for me, it's probably from 28 to 34. I used to say 28 to 32. I'm actually kind of bumping it out to 34 because I was still in pretty good shape at 34 and 35, and then all of a sudden I just blew up in my late 30s. I gained like 100 pounds and got fat. I've never really. There's been a few times where I've taken some of it off, but I don't know what happened. And I always blame it on my baby mama. That's when we had our first kid, and I gained a lot of baby weight, and I never really took it all off. So I'm blaming it on her. I got to blame it on someone. B Celeste is here. Good to see B Celeste, I think. Agoff Twiddlers in the old lounge. Good to see Agoff. Says, so a dead child sex trafficking pimp who died in federal custody, says Trump, who ran that federal government at the time, spent hours with his victims in newly released emails. Yep, that's what they say. B Celeste says, do you think they are trafficking more than young girls? You mean like drugs and stuff? I guess I haven't seen any emails that say anything about that, but what would stop them if they're doing that, from doing something else? Nick Rich, 12 noon. I'm 23 minutes behind you, Nick Rich. I'm 23 minutes behind. 23 minutes behind you, Nick Rich. Jolie says, thank you for saying boobies instead of the T word. Again, on my earlier statements about how it's funny how just you forget one word, or you change one letter of a word, and how it really can make a difference. And for Jolie, it's using the B word instead of the T word when we're talking about breastises. Mad Max says, I highly expect women, but that doesn't mean I don't like to see bouncy boobs either. Laughing out loud. Damn it! Now I wish I would have put the bouncy boobs in. And it was with T-shirt on. It wasn't full frontal nudity or whatever. Victor Harshman, my grammar is not good. That's okay, Victor Harshman. Neither is my verbal abilities. Nicholas, 12 in Vegas, red or black? Never mind. I'm just going to choose green, and I'll be back in a minute after I have a proper dose of THC. Big Hook, the Big Canuck. Apparently, Big Hook doesn't like it when I call him the Big Canuck. I'm not really sure why. But I do hope you're feeling better. I know you had an injury with the big foot. He doesn't like it when I say Bigfoot either. But I hope your big foot's getting better, so you can get down on the good foot. Big Hook says the Big Bouncing Booby song that Randy Rhoads played on her program. Yes, that's right. That's what we were talking about. Someone mentioned that. Bounce your boobies, dooby dooby doo. Nick Rich, we've all learned to read typographical errors fluently. Yeah, we are getting better at it. That's for sure. I am, anyhow. Oh, I know. The Big Hook. I was watching that last night. I almost started crying. Big Hook says Jimmy Kimmel gave a very powerful monologue on his best childhood friend, Cleto, that passed away. Very emotionally powerful and a demonstration of humanity at our best. Highly recommend you watch it. I did watch that, and man, yeah, talk about, giving you the feels and tugging at your little heartstrings. Mad Matt, go Seahawks. All right, guys, go Rams. All right, there. I can do that too. I can say go my team too. Victor Harsman's established been in the league for 17 years. Props for that. Yeah, and he's playing as good as ever. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Big Hook says Turtle Toes, good to see you. My orthopedic surgeon said non-operative treatment. That sounds like a good thing. Says have to wear a boot. Don't you mean a boot? A boot? No, a boot. Didn't you mean a boot? You have to wear a boot. How do you Canadians say boot? Isn't it boot? Boot. You gotta wear a boot. And do physiotherapy for the next 3 months. Wow, 3 months to return to work. Wow. Well, though was that what was it, Achilles or whatever the hell it was? Yeah, that is pretty serious. Like as far as it taking a long time to heal and everything. Let's see. Julie says Trucker John's intros are located under his videos tab on the channel page. Help the show by sharing them. Thank you, Julie. Yeah, and I have them in. I have a playlist, a show intro playlist. So I always when I upload the intro, I will put those in the share intro as well. Share intro playlist. So there's a whole bunch in the playlist. You can just put that playlist on and let it play for your entire day. Victor Hartman says my wonderful wife is telling me I need to get my ass off the computer and get some stuff done. See you. All right, Victor. Thanks for being here. Boo wife. No, I'm just kidding. No, your wife is right. Get up off your ass and get some stuff done, Victor. You can always come back to us later. The beauty of the internet and YouTube is you can come and watch the replay. Chris Doug says, according to HuffPost, Trump is hounding rogue Republicans over the Epstein files vote. Fafo Donnie, yeah. I hope that, and I've been hoping this for years now. We've all been hoping it for years, I think, but that Trump will finally get his comeuppance, and that it will be glorious when it finally all hits the fan, and just still waiting for that day though. Christina Weimel says, John, I'm watching you on my computer, on my phone, and I'm in Messenger chat with Andrea and others. So we'll say hi to Andrea. I know I'm probably 21 minutes behind you, Christine Weibel. I'm 21 minutes behind. But hopefully you're still on and everyone's still on. And say hi to Andrea and others for me. Tell them to come over and watch the show, crying out loud. Big Hook says, thanks, Mad Mac, beyond Thunderdome. Stuck at home with recovery from Achilles tendon. Yeah, it was what it was, Achilles. Or a Chili's, as they say up in Canada. I think they say a Chili's. Just kidding. Just kidding, all you Canadian Canucks. You hosers. Just kidding. Hey? Where's your toque? You got your toque? Hey, you got your toque? Let's see here. Let me skip on down. Yeah, tell Andrea and others to come on in and watch the show. Big Hook says the problem is that there is nobody that wants Schumer's job as minority leader in Senate. Unfortunately, there's nobody with the amount of experience to replace him currently. Let's see. There was a couple names that popped up, but again, who knows? But I do stick up for Schumer. That's how they say it in Canada, also. Schumer. But I've also been critical of Schumer. I haven't liked his when he gets to the podium. A lot of times when he speaks, he just sounds like an old timer who's boring as fuck. That's my main criticism, and he seems really out of touch. But I also defend things that he does, and especially lately, and I don't like us really like tearing each other down. We need the Republicans do enough of that for us. So, but I do think that he's probably been in there long enough, and I would like to see, at least in the Senate seat, not I don't know who the leader would be, the Democratic leader, whether it's majority or minority, depending on the situation, right? But whoever that leader is going to be, I don't know. But for his Senate seat, I really would like for him to retire. Finish out this term. I don't know when his term ends, but finish out the term, and then I would love to see AOC run for that seat. I think that would be a great thing. Jolie says AOC needs way more experience. Yeah, that's why I think it would be great if she could run for Senate. And here's my I've got this one ready to go here. AOC leads Schumer, talking about the Senate seat here. This is a little meme here. AOC leads Schumer by double digits in a head-to-head poll of the 2028 New York primary. So apparently, then Schumer is, I guess, up for re-election in 2028. So we're talking about AOC a lot. If I lived in New York City, I would definitely put a baby in her. No, I'm not supposed to say that. She could put a baby in me. I don't care. But she should run. I would love, and I love her for her brain. Okay, I love her for her ideology and positions and stuff like that. I kid around, but I just want to make I want to make sure that it's not just because she's attractive. It's because she is spot on. She's right on. I mean, since day one, everything I've heard from her is I've just agreed with. So much of her policy positions and her ideas, her ideology, I'm just like, God damn it, right on, man. You go, girl. You go, girl. So I'm all for her. She just might primary his ass. I mean, New York City has, and that's where they're basically out of, right? Is the city area. They're not upstate, you know what I mean? But New York City they just elected Mondani, very left, very progressive. I think they're ready. I think New York is ready to make the move to, to let in younger and more progressive leaders. So I'm for it. I'm all for it. For Senate. Nick Rich, if not term limits, then age limits, driver's license, for example. Yeah, I don't know. I guess as far as even term limits and which are in there now, but there are term limits. I would like to think that the American people would know better, but we've seen that they don't. So, Big Hook. I wish Sheldon Whitehouse would run for president for POTUS. He might. I mean, has he said that he's not? You never know. He might. He might show up at a He might file for it. Robert Perez, did anybody see the Northern Lights across America last night? I didn't. I've been inside. I didn't see it. Okay, I'm skipping on down a little bit. Susie Jones says, hi, I'm lurking. Hi, folks, I'm lurking. I have to go grocery shopping. Luckily, I had somebody give me a gift card so I can get groceries. Still no SNAP. Yeah, I would imagine that SNAP probably won't be until the December payment, probably. Mad Max says, after retiring from pro, I played competitive amateur football. And then I think you're talking about soccer, right? Until I was 60 years old. When I couldn't play to my own satisfaction anymore, I hung up my boots. Wow, that's great. You were able to play until you were 60. That's pretty awesome. I remember playing semi-pro football. I only played in my early 30s, and then I quit. But I remember playing against. There was one guy who was like in his 60s playing tackle football, and I was like, wow. He wasn't that good though. Not as good as me. Let me skip on down. Roxanne79's here. Hey, Roxanne, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Says, howdy, TJ and Loungers. Have been hectic, happy to be able to chillax. Good to have you. Sharky, is this Paul Sharky Mannion? From across the pond, I believe. Says, howdy, TJ and Truckers. Shock, horror, Trump is guilty as sin. Yeah. Don't say it. How could that be? Sandy Foltz says, TJ, did you ever see the movie 9 to 5? Dolly Parton. I did see that movie. It was a good movie. It was funny. Funny movie. You know? Been a while. It's been a while. I may have overskipped because I think I'm almost caught up, but with the chat. Nick Rich, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Yes, AOC. Yes, I'm familiar with the name. Brooklyn, New York. I love New York. Sandy Folds, TJ said ACA. Did I say ACA instead of AOC? Now that might have been I could see me doing that. Aaron West, can't work. There's a dog in my lap. Nick Rich spinning one up and pouring a cup. Be right back. MJ Daniels, we missed most of the good sky stuff because of the weather. Like a McAndrews, they just shoved underground piping through my front yard for fiber optics. Yeah, look at there. Bethany, what position did you play? I played mainly defensive tackle. Mainly defense. I played offensive tackle. Mainly defensive tackle. Sometimes go down to play some nose guard, nose tackle. But basically D-line. Christina Sun, Ghost Squad is here. Hey, Christina, good to see you. Christina says, I'm super busy today, but I have you guys running. We've got a lot of worker and lurkers in here today, which is fine. It's fine. Absolutely 100% fine. Hope your day's going well. Christina, would you vote for AOC if she tried to primary Chuck Schumer? You're in New York, so just to our New Yorkers out there, we've got Brooklyn, SJU. Sandy Foltz is upstate New York. We've got Christina Sungo Squad is in the city, I believe, in New York. Any of you New Yorkers, would you vote for AOC over Chuck Schumer in 2028? In the primary, of course. I'd be interested for my New Yorkers to answer that question. Nick Rich says, caught up but not all thought. Caught up but not all thought. What the fuck does that mean? I don't even know what that means, not all thought. Okay, Josh sees. I think Josh, you're upstate too, aren't you, in New York? So Josh says undoubtedly. Brooklyn says yes, AOC. So far in our unscientific poll, AOC is up by 1,000,000%. Josh says I'm lurking and listening too. Look at there, another lurker listener. But that's, like I said, that's fine. Aaron's laughing. Nick Rich, I don't either. You don't know what you meant. Roxanne says, yep, if I was in New York City, I'd definitely vote for AOC. Schumer is old imp. Okay, we don't have to go that far. Old in my opinion. I don't think that's really an opinion. He's old. Okay, old is old. I mean, okay, he's what? Late 70s? Okay, I'm sorry, folks. I might sound ageist, and I know we've probably got people at that age that are in the chat. Even if you're that age, would you not agree? I don't know, what is he 70 something, 75, 77, 78, or maybe he's 80, I don't know. If you're that age, would you not agree that that's old? I'm 65 and I say that I'm old. So anyhow, Roxanne, I don't mean to sound like I'm picking on you. But anyhow, but he's old. Schumer is old, and I would vote for AOC, not just because of the age thing, but because I think she's better. I think she's smarter. I think she's more in tune. I think I'm more of a progressive, although some people might say I'm not, but I'm definitely more progressive than Schumer, I think. So I think she's more progressive. She's more, even though I don't think she's ever said it, but she's much more of a democratic socialist than she is just a straight Democrat, and I'm all for that. So it's not just the age thing there. It's not like he's all those things, but he's just aging out. He's really got a lot of old ways about him that I think we need to move on from. I think we need to get more progressive. Sandy Full says, Trucker John, if you really want Hillary, go for her. Sandy, well, we're way off the Hillary thing. Sandy, answer the question. Would you vote for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez over Chuck Schumer for the Senate in 2028 in New York? That's the question to you, Sandy Foltz. Enamore says, it's a shame that the U.S. was not ready for Hillary to be president. She has the knowledge and experience dealing with the world leaders. She would have carried herself accordingly. And I'm not sure if the U.S. wasn't ready for her. Like I said, she won in the popular vote by 3 million votes. And I think that she was a victim of the Russia interference, misinformation campaigns. That was enough to get her to lose those key battleground states. Nick Rich says it's fun when John is up to speed. Okay, so Jolie says Schumer's 74. He seems like an old 74, doesn't he? Like, he seems older than 74 to me. But maybe I'm being totally ageist now. But like I said, but what I was saying is that it's not just an age thing. That it's not just that he's too old. Because at 74, I don't think he's too old to do one more term. I think he could do one, but by the time they do the election, he's going to be 75. By the time he takes office, he'll probably be at least 75 and a half, going on 76. Then you got 6 more years. He's going to be like 82 before the term's over. So I don't know, but he's right there, probably right on the bubble as far as age is concerned. But again, for me, the decision isn't really so much about the age as it is. I just think AOC is better. You know, she's half his age, and she's already better, in my opinion. Brooklyn SJU says if Hillary could deal with Bill all these years, she can stand anything. Right. She's battle hardened due to her husband. Christina Sungoswala says, I think there needs to be an age change on all this. So it should be 35 to 65 in order to be in the seats because retirement age of 65. Let's get it together. If they change it to 72, then 72 done. Well, okay, that's a different issue. I just want to know, would you vote for AOC over Chuck Schumer for that Senate seat in 2028? That's question number one. And then question number two, as far as we should change the age and all that kind of stuff. Again, those are constitutional. Well, for Senate, I don't know. I know for president that it's in the Constitution. I don't know about age limits for Congress. I don't remember if they put. I know they don't. They didn't put a. They didn't put an end. There's no end date. I don't know if there's a minimum. There's no maximum, but I don't know I don't remember for Congress if they put a minimum on it. I don't think they did. So those take. I always say those things take constitutional amendments, and it's not just waving of our magic wands. But it's still for discussion. I mean, it's a good discussion. You want to bring that up as a discussion point, but just I always like to point out that it's not so easy to just change like that. Roxanne79 says, TJ, you're not picking on me, or I know you're not picking on me. AOC is better in every way. Her views, her energy. She's upfront with the public. She campaigns like crazy. She listens and respects her constituents. Yeah, I love her all the way around. She's great. She's awesome. I think for me, if I lived in New York, it would be a no-brainer, an absolute no-brainer. I would vote for her for Senate for sure. And more, Hillary would have made a good president. I believe so. I think she would have been a great president. Brooklyn says she was Secretary of State under Obama. Yeah, Hillary Clinton was. Yeah, she was a U.S. senator in New York. Of course, she was the first lady, right, with Bill Clinton, and then after that, she ran for Senate in New York. And was she one or two-time senator? Because then she ran for president, lost to Obama, and then Obama appointed her Secretary of State, and then did she run for Senate? I forget the timeline, but I know she was a senator, and then of course Secretary of State, and then she came within. Well, she came within the Electoral College is the only thing that kept her out, because she had the popular votes. The American people, I would say, quite convincingly, quite resoundingly, wanted her to be president. But we just have this weird, stupid, archaic Electoral College thing that doesn't really give us the will of the entire, population or voting population. Mad Max says Hillary was a victim of Russian collusion and other treasonous acts from orange felon cheating, which is what I was saying. Also, so we are in agreement. Nick Rich says 70 is in about 5 months, too old to be in charge of anyone else's life. Nick Rich. So see, and I love you, Nick Rich, and I'm not trying to be an ageist. I'm not trying to. And so you get it. I mean, I know you get it. And I'm not. We should all be so lucky to live to 70 or 75 or 80 or 85 or whatever. We should all be so lucky. But, there comes a time when there are certain things that we can't do and we shouldn't do. And I think being president of the United States might be the most difficult thing, at least in America. I was going to say in the world, but because it has the weight, you kind of have the weight of the world on you if you give a shit. Maybe that's why Donald Trump really didn't seem like he was aging until finally he had no choice in the matter, because age is going to catch you no matter what. Eventually, but being president of the United States is a very demanding, high tension, stressful job, and I mean, at 70, I'm sure there are 70-year-olds that can handle it. Joe Biden was handling it. But once you get, there's a big difference between 70 and 80. Huge difference. And so once you start getting up around 80, for sure, I think for sure, the job is just too much. At least for, especially if you're going to do 8 years, and be in your mid 80s and stuff. So, if you get 2 terms. So yeah, I'm trying to be ageist or put anybody down for their age, but I'm just saying that's a tough job for anyone to do, let alone someone who's 80. Brooklyn says no more 80-year-old presidents. Roxanne, doesn't Hillary take corporate donations? I don't think she does anymore. She's out of politics. I'm sure she did take corporate donations. She's not Bernie. She's not AOC. But most Democrats still do take corporate donations. But that might be a thing of the past at some point, or it might be a trending to be more grassroots. That might be something that hopefully will catch on, and I would like to see more and more Democrats take the grassroots approach that like Bernie and AOC do, and there are others that do. But so I don't automatically like just cancel someone out because they took corporate donations. I have to look at their voting record and their policy positions, their ideology. You have to kind of look at the history of the person. I think you can't. I don't just automatically write them off because they took corporate donations, because that's the system that has been in place for so long. And for many years, it's like you had to keep up with the Republicans, But I think Bernie has shown the way. Bernie in 2016 won some really big primaries and got really big following and got great support and raised a lot of money with those $27 average donations, right? Wasn't that the thing, $27? So Bernie showed the way. He showed that it can be done, and AOC has shown the way that you can win a House seat, and maybe we'll see if she can win a Senate seat. Maybe someday we'll see if she can win a presidency by not taking corporate donations and just being totally grassroots. Christina says, laughing out loud, you didn't see my comment up there. I said I'm not voting for Schumer. Oh. Well, I'm sorry, I skipped it. So that means you would vote for AOC in this hypothetical? Because AOC has not said anything about running for the Senate at this point. So I don't want to assume, because you know what happens when you assume? You assume. Yeah. That's what happens when you assume. You assume. I've never got that joke. Brooklyn says, at least she does not. At least she does not. Something in pedo. Are we talking about? Are we talking about? Who are we talking about? Are we talking about Hillary or AOC? Who are we talking about? I don't know. Christina says, but John, if we don't discuss this, well, I said we could have this discussion. It was a good point of discussion. I did say that. But, it just says if we don't discuss, then we can't bring these issues to eventually change. That's what we need some of these things to do. We need to vote on these things. Well, you can't vote on that. I mean, I don't think you can vote on age limits. That has to be. I think that has to be done in Congress. But anyhow, we can discuss them, and we can put pressure on our representatives to make those changes. MJ Daniel says, well, yeah, but did Hillary have an uncle that was a professor at MIT? I don't think so. So yeah, that explains a lot. why Trump would be better, right? Because if his uncle was so smart and was a professor at MIT, then surely Donald must be smart too. That's Donald's thinking. Nick Rich, speaking your mind while you still can is necessary. Exactly. I don't mean to say that we can't bring these things up for discussion, but I guess sometimes I just want to make sure we know, these things aren't so easily done. Otherwise, maybe it would have been done by now. But Brooklyn says they moved to Chappaqua, New York, so that she could run for Senate. Yeah, that's right. They moved to I didn't know exactly where in New York, but yeah, now that you mention it. Anna Moore says Jimmy Kimmel's monologue showed us how important friendship is. I think everyone watching must have cried. Yeah, I was getting weepy. Yeah. I don't know how he died, but apparently it seems like it was kind of a sudden thing that came on. I don't know. Sandy Full says, I take orders for baked goods I sell. Well, alrighty. MJ Daniels says, stressful to be president if you actually care and do a job instead of golfing. Right. Nick Rich, I feel young compared to many folks I've met. Yeah, Nick, you're a young 70. You're active. You're on your e-scooter. You're out there. I see your videos, man. Sandy Folks, go Bills. What's up with the Bills, man? They're having a little maybe a little hiccup. Roxanne says, just wanted to send love and strength to our buddy Hal Sparks and his family. They've been in our hearts and minds. Hugs for Hal. Absolutely. I haven't heard the latest on what's going on with his dad, but absolutely send thoughts of love and of a strength and of blessings to be together and it's kind of a weird thing. Like when you're there, when you're if you're there for like a parent dying, you don't want your parent to die, obviously, but you know it's going to happen. So you kind of just take every minute in that you can, because you're never going to, once that parent dies, this is what happened to me and my dad, then you're not going to ever see him ever again. And so this is it. This is it, man. And so you just want to spend every second you can with them, But yeah, my thoughts to the whole Sparks family there. Robert Perez, you make an ass of yourself when you assume. Oh, I thought it was an assumi. Assumi. I thought it was an assumi. Ask you me. You make an ass you me. Jolie says, if you assume you could potentially make an ass out of you and me ask you me, what the fuck? If you assume you could potentially make an ass out of you and me ask you me. Assumi. Nick Rich says the boomer generation is approaching its 8th decade. A lot of departures coming. We're dying off, Nick. We're dying off. Christina Sungo Squad says, well, if she's the only other Democrat running, then yeah, I would vote for her, but maybe there'll be somebody better. Okay, this is what hypotheticals are about. You don't get to change the parameters here. Okay, if it's just between AOC and Schumer, and you did say you would vote for her. Yeah, I'm not. This doesn't. We're not talking about if all of a sudden, I don't know, your favorite person in the world, whoever it is, fill in the blank, all of a sudden decides to run and is eligible and to run and runs for that seat, then you would probably vote for that person because they're your favorite person in the world. But I'm just but okay. So but at least you said okay if it's between AOC and Chuck Schumer, you said you would vote for her. So I think she's at 3-0 now. I don't think we've gotten. I don't think Sandy has chimed in yet. I think we have 4 New Yorkers in here, and so far AOC is at 3-0. Brooklyn says Jasmine Crockett. Well, the only thing about that is Jasmine Crockett lives in Texas. I guess she could move to New York. But apparently, and now with the redistricting, I heard that she might lose her district because of the redistricting, but that wouldn't be until this term is over. So she's going to have she'll have her district for at least this. But I thought I saw or read somewhere that Jasmine Crockett might be her district might be just erased because of the redistricting they're doing in Texas. But I've also seen a lot of stuff popping up about her maybe running for Senate in Texas. And I don't know if that's Ted Cruz's seat. I don't know if that's the other guy's seat, who I always forget. Because I think that guy's retiring, the other guy. And so anyway, I don't know. But there are things popping up about Jasmine Crockett running for Senate. Wouldn't that be awesome? If she ran for Senate in Texas, I think she could win that seat. She seems to be very popular in Texas. Wouldn't that be fucking awesome if we had AOC, senator from New York, Jasmine Crockett, senator from Texas? That would be awesome. And then might we see a AOC Jasmine Crockett ticket at some point? I mean, I'll probably be dead by then. Dead and gone, or my brain will be complete jello by then, but maybe in 12 years or 50, whatever, how many years from now, maybe we'll see a AOC Crockett or a Crockett AOC ticket. I mean, who knows? Who knows, man? Nick Rich says it takes an optimistic point of view to get along peacefully, for me at least. Mr. Spock says, I trade weed for things. I'm going to try to trade some weed for a dirt bike for the grandkids. Wow. Christina Sun Ghost Squad says, of course, we're seeing more and more how it's harder to get the government to do things you want, which is why we have to state what we want and try to get it changed and have backing of a lot of people. Yeah, it's good to get the message out. I agree. I don't mean to shoot down. I didn't mean to shoot down your idea. Yeah, it's good to talk about it, get it out there. Find like-minded people that then get the message out there. Contact your representatives. Contact your senators, your House reps, even if it's at the state level, the local level. Let them know what you want. And when they start seeing a groundswell of support for it, then that will motivate our representatives to actually do some of these things. I believe. I mean, it's better than not saying anything, and then they're like, well, I guess we're just good. I guess I'll go golfing or something. I don't know. Christina, laughing out loud. Well, it's my credit. I was not here when technically you told the rules, so I'm not even sure if I told the rules. I might have been assuming. I might have been assuming. Jolie says, it's ass you me. You make an ass of yourself, and the other person, you equals you. Jolie, I need you to get on a blackboard or whatever, and just chart it out. Nick, by the way, no, never mind. I don't want to ruin it. Nick Rich says, I've assumed too many things over the years. It's never turned out good for me. Jolie says, my 5th grade teacher taught us never to assume and spelled it out on the chalkboard. Oh, I was just talking about chalkboards. Look at there. We all got it in 5th grade. Okay, so here's the thing. I do get it. I really do get it. But it's just one of my little jokey fokies. My little jokies. It's kind of a running gag, actually, about not really understanding it and then saying it back in like a funny kind of way. It's just one of my little jokies. That's all. Okay, that was just between me and Jolie. I hope you guys didn't hear that. Christina says, "All right, laughing out loud. All right, if you don't have me yelling at you, the first thing you're going to do is go golfing." Right. Well, I mean, that's what some of them do. I don't know. Roxanne says, "Assume makes an ass out of you and me." Okay. Brooklyn says, "Jolie, I don't think he's going to get it today." Big Hook says, "Walter Matheson in Bad News Bears, never assume it makes an ass out of you and me." Oh my gosh, you guys. Jolie says, "Fuck's sake, I think he's trolling us." Trolling me. Trolling me. Christina Sun goes, "Well, yes, when you assume you make..." I didn't know this was going to go on like this. It says, when you assume you make an ass out of you and me. Laughing out loud. Somebody told me that exactly that way, and that's how I remember it. Jolie called it. Roxanne loved the walkie-talkie. Oh, is that what that was? Actually, it was supposed to be me, like doing like I'm talking, I'm whispering to someone. I guess I should have said it in a more whispery voice. It's like I'm just off to the side and I'm whispering in someone's ear. I'm not really talking to all you guys in the chat. I was just talking to Jolie. This was me talking to... Oh, you can't see it because of the thing. This was just me off to the side talking to Jolie, and I was telling her about the assume thing, and that I really know what it means. That was just a joke. But I could do like this, like, "Hey, breaker, what's your 20? Hey there, anybody got their ears on? Come on back now. Who's got their ears on right now? Anybody got their big radios on? What's up? Anybody got that radio on? Anybody out there? Anybody out there? Come on back now." Like, I could do that. Who's got their ears on? Anybody got their ears on out there? This here Trucker John out here. I'm westbound I-80. Mile marker 33. Come on back now. What's it look like out there? Anybody seen Smokey out there? I ain't seen him. Last one I saw was mile marker 1. Brooklyn SJU with a $2 super chat. Yippee! Thank you so much, Brooklyn. So stop the assuming, okay? Thank you, Brooklyn. You guys should never. You guys were assuming that I didn't know what the whole assume thing was. So I got you. Nick Rich, that snapshot of AOC is great. I know, doesn't she look fantastic? I love those little dimples. Anyhow, don't get me distracted, Nick Rich. MJ Daniel says, "Never forget when you assume F-47. Right. Gotcha. Michael Andrews says, "Shush." Roxanne, like a whisper. Brooklyn ASMR. Roxanne, you got all the walkie-talkie lingo. Nick Rich says, "TJ should do a CB radio session." That's a big 10-4. A lot of times instead of 10-4, let's go 4. Or come back now. Bentley says, "Yeah, she's pretty in the pick." I think she's pretty even not in that pick. Anyhow, Mad Max says, 10-4, good buddy. Keep the big one out of the ditches and the little ones in your britches. That's a good one. Mr. Spock says, "You're supposed to be making weird clicking sounds." Well, I was trying. Oh, wait, with the whispering. Oh, no, I don't think with the whispering. I mean, I guess you could. Chris says, "Yeah, stay out of John and my private conversations." Yeah, that was just between me and Jolie. Bubble Block says, "Ears are on." He's got his ears on. Come on back now, Bubble Block. Come on back now. Hey, what's 20 there? Miss Buck says, you'll be amazed. All the new subs. All the new subs. If I do a walkie-talkie show or something, man, I was gonna do a cooking show today because you guys are talking about. I really was gonna do a cooking show today, but I had the Amazon delivery thing, and then I wasn't sure if they were gonna even though the lady told me they're not gonna do spraying until next Wednesday. I still wasn't 100% sure because they've said that before, and so I wasn't sure. So I didn't want to be doing the cooking show, and then I was going to have to stop because of the spraying or stop because of the Amazon delivery. But I was going to do a cooking show. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. I'll cook breakfast, and this will just be the Trucker John cooking show, and everyone will be happy. No more politics, and you'll all be happy. Mad Mac 1050 Smokey in a plain brown wrapper on I-90 at mile marker 47. He's taking pictures. Yeah, we got Evil Knievel eastbound. Yeah, watch out, Evil Knievel's got his disco lights on. Come on back now. Really 4? That's just lazy. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's like you can't say 10-4. It's like 4. Mr. Spock, or pop some bubble wrap. Really, Mr. Spock, that's what I gotta do. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But Bob LeBlanc says in ear to here in Grand Prairie, Texas, all. Brooklyn says ASMR of counting money turns me on. Ooh. I'm looking for my wallet. Miss Buck, truck stop cooking. Yeah, but I'm not in a truck stop. I'm not in a truck. So I can't do it. Not gonna do it. Can't do it. Not gonna be able to do it. Never gonna do it. No. I did find my CB. I should just bring the CB out and just as a prop because I can't plug it in. I'm just looking at my TV. Jeremy Allen White is on TV right now. I think it's probably a Bruce thing. Oh, and Bruce is there. Oh, it's being interviewed by some blonde chick. I don't know. And she's laughing and giving me the vibes that she wants to jump Jeremy Allen White's bones. What show is this, real quick? Let's see. It's a Spotify conversation. So whoever the chick that does Spotify conversation, she's totally fucking wanting to jump Jeremy Allen's bones right now. And talk about getting old. I love Bruce, but as he's getting older, he looks like he's this dried up piece of leather with his eyes squinted shut, and when he talks, it's like he's using every brain cell to get the words out or something. What? Wait, let's see. Here he is.
And when I first saw it, I realized, yeah, I do that. I look like that when I do that. So it was quite fascinating.
I heard you say, Jeremy, that you kind of, trying to keep the energy up in between takes and stuff and things. You're taking your jump ropes with you.
I thought for some reason that my stamina would be more than Bruce's, and so I brought weighted rope with me to set whenever I had those kind of performance scenes, so that in between setups I could keep my heart rate up and keep my sweat going. And it turns out that was completely unnecessary. And after trying to perform Born to Run or Born in the USA, that sweat comes naturally, that heart rate gets lifted, and your adrenaline gets going.
All right, so that's the they've been doing a lot of or they shows for the new movie, Deliver Me from Nowhere, whatever the fuck it's called. Bruce Springsteen biopic. I really liked it, by the way. I really enjoyed the movie. I've seen a lot of reviews on it. Even the ones that give bad reviews, I get the bad reviews. I understand their criticisms of it, but I still like the film. I still really like it a lot. So if you're a Bruce Springsteen fan, I recommend it. Now I did have another. Oh well, okay. As much as I don't really want to, well, I just had this where. Although the thing is, states where Donald Trump is a convicted felon, and it's like every state. Every state. Maybe I could just put. I'll put this one over here. I don't know. Just for the hell of it, just for shits and giggles. I don't want to cover up AOC. But I just came across that little meme, and I thought it was funny because we're always seeing these charts and these graphs and about like who voted, and it'll be like you'll see all the blue places, and of course they're all in like high populated areas, and then you'll see all the red things, and so it looks like it'll look like at least 2 or 3 or 4 to 1 voted in favor of Trump. But the thing is, those red areas, most of those red areas are just what I always like to say, cactus and cattle, or whatever. Is dirt and rattlesnakes and stuff. But anyhow, but for this, it's true. He's a convicted felon in every single state because it doesn't go away just because you cross the state. You're still a convicted felon, Trump. Anyhow, let's see. Where was I at in the chat? Stephanie Batu's here. Hey, Stephanie, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in to the Driver's Lounge. Always good to see Stephanie B in the Driver's Lounge. Jerry DB, AOC in that movie. What movie? The Springsteen movie? No, she's not in the Springsteen movie. It takes place in 1982. I'm not even sure. Was she even born yet? What year was AOC born? Let's see. 92, 2002, 2012. Oh, that'd make her over 40. Yeah, she's not even 40 yet. She wasn't even born yet when this movie takes place. But not that she would have to be an actress in it. So that was stupid on me. But Nicholas says the correct 10:36 is 4:16 p.m. Eastern Time prepping. So let's see. I'm 3 minutes behind you, Nick Rich. I'm 3 minutes behind you. I'm 3 minutes behind you, Nick Rich. Brooklyn SJU says thanks for Eastern Standard Time. All you gotta do is add 3 hours. Jerry DB shit posting. Is that what you're doing, Jerry DB? You shit posting? Hey, Jerry DB, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for coming on in here and shit posting. Anna Moore says Trump is a legend in his own mind, as Clint Eastwood would say. Yeah, you're a legend in your own mind. I'm trying to do Clint. He's a legend in his own mind. I guess to do Clint, all you have to do is kind of talk real, in low volume. Legend in your own mind. You got to ask yourself, you feeling lucky? Well, are you? Punk? And scene. Thank you. Brooklyn, Thelma, and Louise, AOC, and Jasmine Crockett. Yeah, there you go. Paul Burrows, 1:20 Pacific Time, and I just got to Losteen River. Oregon for my weekly shift. Well, I'm glad you're working. I don't know what the situation is. At least you're working today, so that's good, right? Christine Sun Ghost Cross says 11. Well, I'm watching on my phone, so my Eastern Standard Time is there. Miss Spock 420. Oh, you just can't wait for the 420s. Oh, look, we got Paul McSweebing. I've seen you before. Says dim Congresswoman. Oh, did they swear her in? Did they do it? Did we miss it? Did I miss it? Oh man, well, that's great news. Adelita Grijalva from Arizona. I don't know the district. I see little Mikey Grinder. House convenes ahead of vote to reopen government. I think this is USA Today. I'm seeing them milling around. I don't know what they've voted on yet or did, but there it is. But yeah, let's go. Let's go. Let's get her sworn in. Let's do this. Let's do this, little Miker Grinder Mikey Johnson. Nick Rich says it's a lot easier to deal with the insanity that the 47th administration is dumping on the world with a big fat doobie. Doobie doobie doo. Doobie 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 doo. Anwar says my mom was sick and we knew she was dying, and when she died, it still came as quite a shock to all of us. Yeah, I know. I'm not sure if it's a shock. It maybe but it's like the realism sets in that your mom is now is gone, and I guess it is a shock. Even though like even with my dad, like we knew the end was coming. We knew it for a long time, and then when it finally happened, I remember I just all of a sudden. And and I don't really do this very often, but I mean, I just all of a sudden just, I was just at my dad's bedside and just looking at my dad, and he was dead, he was gone, and I remember just all of a sudden just this big outpouring of just crying, of bawling my head. I hadn't bawled my head off. I mean, it's one thing to get teary eyed and you cry at certain things. I remember when my daughter was born and my son was born, I remember crying a little bit, but not bawling my head off. I can't even remember when I last bawled my head off. And maybe when I got divorced, that was kind of a thing for me. But anyhow, I just bawled my head off and just kind of had this big, kind of like let it all out for like a few minutes. Even though you know what's happening, it's going to happen, and you're sort of, you think you're prepared for it, but then you're kind of not, so yeah, but that's a part of life, Paul McSwibney 7675. You can call me Sweeney, laughing out loud. Hey Sweeney. I know I've seen you in here before, and thanks for coming back and hanging out with us for a little bit. We are over 2 hours. I'm probably going to end the show pretty soon. GDB says, what do you think about Hassan recent trip? Hassan who? Bethany Harbaugh says she is a very smart woman. Are we talking about AOC? Are we talking about AOC now? Brooklyn, cry deep in your soul. Yeah. So is this live? I have the House. I think this is live. The title is House expected to vote to end the government shutdown. It started 11 minutes ago, so I don't know if they've done it already or what. It's just showing the House, that when they show the thing, and I don't know what they've actually done anything yet or not. Anyhow, guys, I guess we'll go ahead and end the show for today. Let's see, today is what, Wednesday? Wednesday already. So tomorrow is a Thursday show, which means we're on at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Really? I'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. It's been a delight hanging out with you guys for a little bit. The Soul Craft is coming in at the last second. Brooklyn is assuming some stuff there. Sweeney, I'll just say Sweeney. Oh yeah, she gave her speech. Adelita Grijalva. I mean, she gave a speech. Darn it, I missed it. Well, I'll catch that on the replay. We can all go catch that on the replay. Thanks for being here, guys. You guys are really awesome. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Time-ios. So again, thanks you guys so much for being here. If you haven't subscribed, please do hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a dime. Absolutely free of charge. Like, subscribe, and share. Let's get the show out. Let's get us going and growing. We got to make up for the 3 people that I chased off the other day. So let's go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And you never know. If you're new here, you just never know who might pop in. Yeah, you just never know. There's me, the tough cookie. I might come in and I might cuss you out because I'm tough like that. I'm gruff and a little rough around the edges. And sometimes I say cuss words and stuff. Really naughty cuss words. Not saying them right now, though, because it would just be too like you're expecting it. So no cuss words today. But maybe next time I might cuss. Because it's funny to see a cookie saying F words. That's the funny stuff. You know? So there's that. That should be worth 100,000 subscribers, Nick Rich, huh? Get an old tough cookie saying F words. And then sometimes I pop in, and then the funny thing about me is I have a purple beard. You don't see that on Midas Touch. When do you see Ben Mycelis in a purple beard? Never. And they got 6 million views. I should be worth 11 million views just for my purple beard presence. But anyhow, I like to say thank you guys very much for being here. And again, like Trucker John said, hit that sub button, subscribe button, hit the notification button too if you want to, in case you missed the starting times, and hopefully you'll be notified and when we come on. But we're on basically Monday through Saturday, guys. We do this show Monday through Saturday. So come on in. Maybe you'll see the purple beard guy. Now, I'm not going to be dropping as many F-bombs as old tough cookie. I'm a little more mellow. But you just never fucking know. You just never fucking know. I might drop an F-bomb. Isn't that funny? That's the funny stuff right there. That's the good stuff. I see Brooklyn SJU with a 99-cent super sticker. Yippee! Thank you, Brooklyn. I pretty much do the same yippies as Trucker John does. It's a thing we do here. When someone does a super chat or a super sticker or a membership, we're all about the yippee. We're all about the yippee here at the old Trucker John Show. So anyhow, you guys, take care. Take care and keep your chins up and keep the fight going. We're going to keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going all the way until forever, actually. But just keep voting for Dems and stop voting for Republicans. That's my only message, my only wish. Stop electing Republicans. All right, guys. All right, Paul and Cookie, thank you very much for being here. That means there's only really one thing left to do. There's only one thing left to do. There's only one thing left to do. Oh, there's just the one thing. One thing we got to do today. You got to pick up that pad and you got to get yourself a pen. And you're going to write down these words of wisdom that are coming your way. You don't want to miss the words of wisdom. Are you ready? Are you ready for the words of wisdom? Are you ready? I ask you, are you ready? All right, guys, words of wisdom. Here we go. Today's words of wisdom are as follows. Okay, so first,
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes. Might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes. But if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid. But doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John Livestream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John Livestream. Yeah, the Trucker John Livestream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John Livestream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again.
Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never sleep. Broadcasting my thoughts for the world to keep. From politics to pop culture, I've got it all. Sharing my views, no matter how big or small. Talking about food, the movies and bugs. Shining a light on all the social issues. No shrugs, I've driven through the desert, seen the city so bright. But now I'm living in a different kind of fight. From my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. My apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. Whoa. want to take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. Under all those bright lights, you've gotta learn to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for lust. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love, it's all about the thrills. It's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows. So go ahead and make your big show. So live it up on Paradise Road, just don't let anyone know. It'll be your dirty little secret, it'll be your guilty little pleasure. Living a secret that the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. So damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life, everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot, you're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along.
Show's over. I'm out of here, folks. Bye. See you later.
Yes! 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 Ooh, the Dodgers won! The Dodgers won! Yes! Yes! Woo-hoo-hoo! Dodgers won the World Series! Woo! Yeah! Yeah! Yeah, Clayton, yeah! Woo-hoo-hoo! Oh my God! Oh my God, that was the most amazing World Series ever. Dodgers!